G'day, have I got a story for you? Check the disclaimer. Season 1, Episode 20. One more minute. Oh, that smell. I suddenly sit up, coughing violently. There are two men in lab coats, one standing each side of me. Oh, and I see the mangler at the end of the bed. Oh, why is he getting such pleasure from watching me cough so much that I can hardly breathe? All three men seem to delight in watching me cough. Why? Oh, why do they like this? Elvar and Blas are standing in the room either side of the locked door. They don't seem pleased. Oh, they're concerned because they think they're responsible for me while I'm here. If something happens to me, they think they will be blamed. When I finally stop coughing, the two scientists check me. They do all the usual doctor things and some extra things that really don't need doing. They want to impress the mangler. It doesn't seem to actually impress him. He just seems to get more and more annoyed at having to wait so long. My plans. I am doing my parts so all the plans go quickly and smoothly. I connect to all those boys' thoughts once again and let them know that it's almost time. They are going through every room, gathering all the blankets and some clothes that they think might be useful, and every bit of food they can find. Each of them lining their pockets with some of the food so they can eat it as they go. They have been deprived of enough food for such a long time. This is a 3-story mansion, so it has many bedrooms never even used, except to set up with bedding and towels, etc. They quickly assess what they think will be needed, but then have in mind that they could come back if they have time. Oh, one boy is even taking photos of the cages, the basement, everything he thought might be useful. He is using the camera that their captor used to take photos of the boys when he hurt them. These boys are so relieved. I unchange them with my mind, unlock their cages, unlock the basement door, and in their thoughts I told them my plan. Even though they all wanted to just run away immediately, they all decided to go with the plan, knowing they'd have a better chance with me helping them. 2 of the boys remember Dr. Ivan from the facility and they liked him. Well, sort of. He seemed kinder than the other scientists. I remember what I thought when I discovered these boys, in the thoughts of a scientist in this facility when I first came here. I thought, previously, one of the scientists at this facility has boys imprisoned in the small basement of his house. He thinks that no one will ever know. I show Dr. Ivan the man's face in his thoughts, then show him the boys' faces, and he is surprised, and he recognizes 2 of them. They were considered runaways. Dr. Ivan doesn't want to be involved in any of this, but I am determined. I will save these boys. Continues. Well, I'm glad that Dr. Ivan has changed his mind. I'm so glad that I found a way to help them. They are about to run back to get some of the things they have in mind that might be useful. I let them know that they will only have time to get 1 thing each, so they quickly decide what each boy will get and run quickly. They made it in time. I can see that the boys are all in the bus, which is in the driveway of their kidnappers' property, along with a tram, a train engine, and a number of other vehicles. There is even a helicopter on the helipad. The rest of his collection are in large sheds on the property. As Linda pulls the long car up in front of the bus, the two older boys quickly check the car and start loading blankets and clothes in the back on one of the bench seats and put some bags of food on the floor. Dr. Ivan and his family get in the bus with the other boys. Linda spends a few minutes with her children, making sure they know how precious they are to her. Then she quickly drives the bus out of the driveway, the car with the two oldest boys following the bus. I let them know which way to drive to avoid a few sleeper operatives in that area and direct them where to take the long car. They leave it in a side street, a few streets away from the small town centre, next to a beautiful looking park. They leave all the car doors open and the motor still running at my request. A man who I know is nearby, waiting behind some bushes, can take it to drive quite a distance the opposite way to the direction the bus is going to get back to his home and his family. The food and blankets in the car are for this man and others. The man hasn't eaten much in the last 2 weeks, and nothing in the last 2 days. He knows to leave the motor running because he doesn't have the key. I think of him reuniting with his family and how this has possibly saved his life. This is what I live for, to help people. I do this often when I can, although when they mess with my mind, sometimes I don't remember that I can do this. I'm glad Dr. Ivan's house is on the other side of town. No one will even suspect he came over this side, except possibly the scientist who kidnapped the boys when he eventually returns home, and he won't be telling anyone. His maid and butler are both in the mind control rooms today, and his driver was assigned by the facility. It took Linda only 6 minutes to drive to this park, including the minute she stopped to change vehicles. Sleepers from the facility are still waiting for Dr. Ivan, expecting him to arrive at his house in about 4 minutes. The bus will be long gone by then, and if they continue to drive where I direct them, the few sleepers in the surrounding areas will not see them. They are going to be able to get away easily. I turned off the tracking device that was attached to the car before they left the car park at the facility. I will turn it back on when it is eventually left in the designated area. Well, that's the plan as long as I remember by then. If they've done something to my memory, it doesn't really matter if I don't turn it back on. They will find the car in due course, and it will be nowhere near where Linda and Dr. Ivan are. Now that they are on a long stretch of road that is mostly straight, the oldest boy takes over the driving of the bus. Linda can now check what they've collected from the house and assess what they will need to get through the night and the next few days while they are driving to the house I have ready for them. Linda seems glad that she can be helpful, and the children are also helping, folding blankets and sorting everything into piles. They all seem to be enjoying doing this. Dr. Ivan doesn't seem to be much help. In fact, he was just getting in the way, so he is sitting watching with his son in his arms. I'm glad these boys all like Linda, and she likes them too. She is hoping some of the younger boys will stay with her and be part of the family. That's so good. I see the young boys are hoping for the same thing. I checked when I first found out about them, where their parents were. Many are gone. It's so sad. To stop them looking for their boys. The other parents have had their minds manipulated so much that they don't remember ever having a boy. They are also sleepers, so should be avoided. The boys did such a good job loading the bus. There is plenty of food and they seem to have everything they need. This portion of the plan is working well. If everything in the bus can last them 3 days, that's all the time I need. I have someone ready to visit them on the 4th morning She will have all the legal papers they need, including for the house that I am directing them to. And bank accounts are ready for each of those old enough to have one. I also have an older girl making her way to a stretch of road where they will need to pick her up as well. The 2 oldest boys and Linda have all the information needed. I went over it many times to make sure they all know exactly what to do. The second eldest boy is making it his mission to remember every detail, since he can't drive yet. He wants to do his part. I'm so glad everything is going according to plan. I am following the mangler down the hall. He is going to do more tests with me. So many different things he wants me to do. Some I cooperate and some I don't. And he has his mind on other things today, so doesn't bother with the ones I refuse to do, which is very unusual for him. I can see that the next time he thinks I will have no choice and that I will have to do everything. There is always a choice, and no matter what he says or does, I will not do the evil things that he wants me to do. I do just enough of the other tests to keep him impressed, but nothing more. I point blank refuse to kill anything living. I know I can, I think, but I just don't want to. I choose not to, and I can see that he doesn't have the time to try to make me to do it today. Besides, he lied to me. Again. Those kittens were perfectly healthy. They were not going to die an agonizing death of any awful disease. I saw his thoughts. He thought that if he could get me to kill just once, even out of compassion, the next time it would be easier, then easier, and eventually he would have a deadly weapon. Well, that's not going to happen. Why do people lie? It seems counterproductive to me. Telling so many different lies to different people, then they can't remember which lie they told to which person. Some of these scientists seem unable to ascertain which were their lies and what the truth actually was. And some end up believing their own lies. Why not just tell the truth? It is so much easier, and besides, lies always get found out in the end. At last, we seem to be done for today. The mangler is tired and wants to finish. Actually, I'm surprised how much energy he has for such an old man. After the MM has finished healing my burnt skin from the electric shocks and my injured leg from the dark room, we go back to the first room where I entered this facility. The desk woman, Stella, walks in with Fenella, who grabs my arm. Why does she clench my arm so tight?
Take her to siphoning.
The mangler orders.
Then to the memory eradication room that Stella showed you earlier.
He continues.
You can then go to the surface. Make sure the woman on the surface is not badly glitching. If she is, send the men to bring her here immediately.
Yes, sir.
Fenella answers.
What about the baby boy? Should I check him first or come straight back?
That boy.
The mangler says.
Just check that he's still alive and put him in the cot. Bring that woman straight back if she is glitching. And if she's not, you can come straight back here anyway.
Here?
Asks Fenella.
Yes.
The mangler says.
You are assigned here from now on. You are to tell me immediately if anyone tells you any different.
He walks into his office at the back. What is siphoning? Is that what they call extraction here? That's what they usually do before erasing my memories. I'm so exhausted after that. It's awful. I would prefer to not go to extraction. Siphoning. I would like to keep my memories. I need to remember. Oh, all my plans. I have many things to accomplish before we get to siphoning. It's harder to concentrate when they do that to me. So I usually just think about past events, to take my mind off it. It feels like they're taking away my energy, but far more than just energy. Yes, I remember. It rises off me and they collect it. There are many see-through glass bottles full there, all lined up along the side wall on the shelves. The contents look a bit bubbly. Some are light brown, some are pale yellow, some are pale blue, some are white, some are clear. But mine are the only bottles that shine. Well, at the other facility anyway. Maybe it's because I'm not a real person. That's what they told me. I am a person, aren't I? Maybe there'll be other shiny ones here. Dr. Ivan, his family, and the boys. Stephanie, Alistair, Leah, Warren, Mel. I checked them all and others. Yes, all is going well. I need to continue to synchronize all my plans so everything continues to go very quickly. They are almost complete. I watch Philip as he pulls up on the main street and skillfully gathers a crowd in front of his truck. Free ice creams always brings people together in one area. While they are all occupied laughing and chattering together, 23 people exit the elevators in nearby shops and make their way to the other side of his truck. They all pile in and are now closing the door on that side. They all sit on the floor around where he is standing, so they are not seen through his open window. Eventually all the people around have their free ice creams, and Philip closes the window and pulls down the blind. He grins at everyone, so happy to be able to help so many people, and gets the box of clothes he's been collecting since I rescued him. Everyone stays seated in the back, going through the clothes to find some that fit them. Philip grins as he drives them to his huge homestead. He's looking forward to showing them his horses. He has rooms all ready, and his wife and mother have been cooking all day for their visitors. She's not really his mother, but he calls her mum and she calls him son. She is a fantastic cook. They are in for a treat. We are entering the siphoning room, and they immediately put me in the big chair. Alva and Blaz stand inside the room and lock the door. This is a bit different to the extraction room in the other facility. The man and woman lab assistants are wondering what my shining life force will look like. Oh, they call it life force. An apt name. They call it energy at the other facility. They have never seen life force that shines in the light. I see in their thoughts that apparently almost all life force shines, but usually the room lights need to be turned off to see it. Why didn't I remember that? Not so with mine. It's so bright, it can easily be seen with the lights on. I wish mine was like everyone else's. I wish I was normal. I wish I was a real person. The lab assistants have a plan to steal a small portion of my life force each, to have for themselves, so they are going to extract a bit more than usual. I hope I'm not too dizzy to walk after this. I have things I need to concentrate on and do. They push me back in the chair and begin to hook me up to the machine. I need to check where that bus is. I quickly find the second oldest boy on the surface. He is keeping watch to make sure they go exactly the right directions, while the oldest boy drives, and everyone else is going to try to sleep, laying across the seats. Linda is wrapping her children and 4 young boys in blankets, giving them a pillow each, and kisses them all on the cheek when she says good night. The 4 boys can't remember the last time they were this comfortable and felt so safe. The older boys, Linda and Dr. Ivan, all wrap themselves in blankets. The boys got every blanket they could find from the many bedrooms in the big house. They have more than enough. They are all doing well. Good. The man is driving the long car in the opposite direction to the bus at top speed. He knows and understands his part of the plan. All other plans are also working out perfectly. In the siphoning room, as the woman puts the needle in my arm, she misses twice, but gets it the third time. I deliberately wriggle and fall off the chair, and the needle comes out. I just need one more minute to complete a part of the other plans. The woman puts the last needle in my other arm this time. She actually puts her leg over me to make sure I wouldn't wriggle off the seat again. The man flicks the 3 machines on. Oh, now it gets hard. Thank you so much for joining me with a cuppa. I appreciate your company.